Catus, Maximus here. These are the long-awaited replacement Icon 3/8 flex head ratchets. A long time ago, year and a half ago, literally like 18 months since I did the very initial review. People are having problems with these basically locking up, just too much pressure, and you tend to run 3/8 ratchets a bit harder than 1/2 inch relative to their total or their absolute strength, jamming up. The pawls would get jammed. Harbor Freight actually soft recalled them. Just told the stores to pull them off the shelves. Sent out a bulletin that was, I think, just to Insight Track Club members. It was kind of an odd bulletin. Anyway, I went in. I had the original receipt from purchasing the original one. Part of the bulletin is that they would replace with any other ratchet. They did, so I did a return. Had the second receipt of them returning. They actually swapped out for a big 1/2 inch Icon. And then the deal was they're supposed to give you another, basically a free original 3/8 ratchet. And it's been a year and a half. And with the pandemic, you understand, I mean, with their soft recall, it could take 3 months for them to reputate them, get them back from the stores to headquarters, 3 months to get them back to Taiwan, 6 months in Taiwan for them to do what they did. I doubt they actually recycled and trashed 15,000, 20,000 ratchets. Harbor Freight has 1,000 stores, so if each store got 5 of each type of ratchets, yeah, you're in the range of 15,000, 20,000 ratchets, including the soft grips. So it was a heck of a lot of ratchets. I'm sure Harbor Freight, as well as the manufacturer, did testing and just took either the worst ones, maybe did some refitting, but I'm pretty sure that they just did not trash 20,000 ratchets and then remanufacture them. That would be real surprising. So that's what I'm expecting here. Anyway, so I had my original receipt, my return receipt, and a printout of that bulletin. So they indeed did give me this ratchet, and I was actually kind of happy about that. Although the manager who did the return was the same person when they did the initial recall. So I ended up spending the $43 on this unit here. What on earth is going on with that sticker? And so decided to buy the shorter 10-inch version as well. But they did give me the 14-inch for free. Other thing I'm going to say real fast here, they do have their obligatory microfiber cloths. Before I get into these, I'm already seeing that, heck, it does look like they put new heads on them all. But one quick gripe. That would be this. They actually have the gall to come out with a $70 24 karat gold plated straight handle 3/8 ratchet. That's 50% the price or more of a Snap-on or a Matco or any tool truck brand. I can't believe they're selling enough of these Icons to justify putting out a gold plated version. Like, my word. Supposedly there's already 61 reviews. People are buying these. My goodness. Had to get my 1/2 inch. So initially, I was just going to say, you get the straight handle one still. If you get the free replacement, then do it. But otherwise, the nature of the flex heads had physically different mechanisms. And I did a video comparing the straight handles. And just because I noticed that the switches were quite a bit different, even though this is a 1/2 inch, we can just see the design of the switches was different. That was the same case. If you look at my 18-month-old video from September 29th, 2019 of the original 3/8, it will have a switch like this. And so the straight handle ones actually had bigger pawls in them. They actually had rubber seals around the switches, which the other ones didn't. But now we get into these. And what do I see? I see switches that look just like the higher quality, higher strength straight handle ones. And these switches are distinctively different from, say, this 1/2 inch one. You can just see how it's just hanging out there. I didn't like that. There was no seal around there. You can see how the oil is leaked out. And you can see that these switches are distinctly different. They're closer to the body of the tool. They're a bit more stubbier and stronger. So let's take a look inside. That's the only way to really determine. But I'm surprised. They actually did get new heads put on all those ratchets. That's a lot of money. Harbor Freight's, the cost to do that, even at manufacturing cost is still hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's, wow. Second observation before I get into these do look like they have the same bottom plates as the straight handle ones. Do not immerse in fluids, 90 tooth, smooth, versus the figure 8 design that was on the we'll say, lesser units. It just makes me wonder if they're going to just start replacing on the shelf these older units with the more upgraded ones, and it's already surprised me that they upgrade the head on these, so I'm suspecting the 3/8 may be just special by themselves, or the 3/8 flex heads having better heads than any of the other 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch flex heads. But who knows? Only time will tell. We'll get these apart, but actually what I'll show here is we can actually see on the box, on the shorter 10-inch one, we can see the livery or the graphics have been updated to the newer style. This box shows the ratchet with the old lever, yet the new ratchet head was actually inside there. So many last things. Anvil play, it's pretty tight in these. That's more than acceptable as far as symmetry of the grind. Seems pretty even on both sides. Seems pretty symmetrical there, so it doesn't look like these were just like super cheap heads. This one as well, pretty decent centering. Seem to run pretty good. Well, I'm surprised they did that. Let's go ahead and pop these open. Super tight fitting T9 screws in these. Let me get these open. That bottom plate was kind of stuck. Super well greased. Let's just take a quick comparison of the anvils here and the pawls and see if indeed they are the same. 90T. There is a slight difference between, see, this has just a bit of an undercut area where this one on the slightly newer ones does not. And surprisingly enough, if we look at the height of the teeth, since this one's been flat forged and this one actually has just a little bit of a lip there, the teeth on this revised edition are ever so slightly larger than they are even on the straight head. Basically the exact same pawl. It's just that it is indeed a different forging, giving it like a touch, maybe like 2 or 3% more surface area, but that's really pretty darn surprising. Only other differences would be they're using clear grease instead of a green grease. Everything else is the same. It's a steel sleeve over a steel spring and a cast zinc switch that does have an O-ring at the top. So they really did. They really did get new heads, revised heads manufactured. Take a close look at the anvils. They look the same, although we can see here that there's a shim washer on the straight one. They decided not to put that in the flex head. So that's the story. I'm surprised. They must be making money hand over fist. That's why they're coming out with gold, literal 24 karat gold plated icon ratchets, and why they were willing to accept making everybody wait a year and a half and actually having them make the better quality heads and put them on the 3/8 ratchets. Now the only question is all the people who've got those earlier versions of the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch drive flex heads are just going to have to wait and see if they're going to end up upgrading the heads on those ratchets. Or if it just happens to be due to the circumstance of the 3/8 recall that the 3/8 flex heads may very well end up being just a very special ratchet in the icon line that is upgraded beyond the other flex heads in 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, which is entirely possible. Both are possible because once they've already done this design, it's just as they order new batches of product, the stock that will end up getting flushed out with the newer versions, and they'll just rely on the lifetime warranty. If people have problems with the old ones locking up in the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, they'll just swap them out and for better ones. But I'm really surprised. That actually makes these icon flex heads pretty competitive now that they have upgraded heads that are even more upgraded than the good straight handle heads. Really surprised. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus, Maximus out.